Hello everybody, this is Evan with Tabletop Gaming Guild. Today we're bringing you a special video here. I'm going to be doing a little bit of painting here for our Judge Dredd miniature game from Warlord Games. So we got this recently in for review. And I got the miniatures all fixed up, I've got them primed. So before I delve into the game and play it a little bit, I figured, instead of having regular gray miniatures, why don't we get them painted up, or at least get a couple of these guys painted up. So really all I did was I mounted them onto the bases that they came with, did a little bit of basing, flocking, whatever you want to call it, and I just did a quick zenithal highlight onto them, just in gray and white. The reason I went with just without the black is, so this game is based off of the 2000 AD comic book. So as you can see from the cover itself, the colors are a little more vibrant, but still has a dark grittiness. So I wanted to, without digging too deep into the dark gritty colors, I still wanted to leave that level of vibrancy. So I didn't want to put that black undercoat. I went with that gray, but since I'm going to be using Army Painter Speed Paint here, it's going to shadow it pretty well, so it's going to give me that gritty look without having to do the super dark black shadowing into it. So I'm basically going to work with our main judge here and our recruit judge. Now it does come with a bunch of street gangs. I'm not going to really work on those in this video here. I'm just going to work on these two. And as I showed in the rulebook here, there is a lot of examples from like the comic appearances and pictures of miniatures that are painted through Warlord itself. So like there's a good picture of, kind of an example that I'm going to be going for in there. So that's what I'm looking for. We got a lot of that green in there, that gold and yellow look, the iconic judge helmet there with that dark blue and the red right there. So this is what we're going to kind of look for here. So I got a couple colors already picked out, so we'll see how this works, and if I'm not too happy with it, we will clear it up and try it again. So I got a couple paints already pre-mixed up here. Like I said, I'm going to be using our Painter Speed paints. So that blue there I think is going to be a good match for the magic blue here. I managed to get myself a vortex mixer here. Now with the speed paints, these are the 1.0, 2.0 at the time of recording here is not out. So I'm going to be using the first generation of speed paints here. And yeah, I am a big fan of these. These do help out a lot. They do settle really well. So they do take an extra level of mixing. That's where the vortex painter or vortex mixer is going to come in handy to do this. It does come with 2 balls in here to help mix it up, but just doing this, you're going to wear out your arm for a minute or two just to get it mixed up semi-good onto the vortex, 20 to 30 seconds, and it's good to go. So let me get my palette here. Clear out some of the cat hair that I have, because if you own a cat, then cat hair is everywhere. So a couple drops of this blue here. So I'm going to start onto the judge here. I'm going to grab Army Painter, just the monster brush here. It's a flat. Get it wet so bristles, it's been a little bit since I've used this, so they're stiff. Alright. A little bit of paint. And on she goes. As always, the coverage on this is pretty good. I really like it. It is quick to move and quick to run, but kick that out of the way so I don't do that again. As you can tell, my attention deficit kicks in when I'm painting sometimes, so I don't stay in the same area. I'm gonna have to get into a smaller detail brush to get into those areas, but it's all right. It's a nice blue here. It's a little bit lighter than I was expecting it to be, but I'm okay with that. Because we might just throw a regular wash on top of it. Just to darken it up a little bit. We're not sure yet. We'll see how the spirit moves us as we go along. Alright, we're going to drop that in there. Alright, so I'm going to need a little finer brush here. So I got these really nice wolf bristle brushes here. They're from Chronicle RPG. They had a Kickstarter not that long ago. I pledged to, so these are all wolf bristle here. They also had some sable, but I didn't pull those out, so I'll be using some of these wolf bristles. I'm a huge fan of them. They hold a point very well. We're going to take this, and we'll go with a 2-point here. A little bit right in there. Okay, a little bit over a couple spots, but it'll be alright once by the time it dries. I'll be going with a much darker color over that, so it'll be alright. And as a disclaimer, the last time I did a painting video, as I told you, I am not the best painter in the world. I am far from it. I'm not the worst painter in the world either. But I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy showcasing it. And the more people that do it, the better. Because these miniatures are meant to be painted. They're meant to be enjoyed. Do you know what? Even if you've never painted it before, pick up a brush and give it a try. Because even if it's not the best paint job in the world, at least it's painted. Now, with the nature of the speed paints, how quickly it likes to pool and move, there's a little spot that was underneath here that I was able to just drop my brush on and just the paint run, and it ran right where I needed it to. So there's a couple touch-up spots. And this is Magic Blue. I think it's Magic Blue. Yep, Magic Blue. And it's already drying a little bit darker than initially thought, so I think I'm going to be happy with this blue one there. So we'll just get this little line that's not there, a little bit right in here. Right there. Alright. Now another part that is also blue is a portion of the helmet here. So there's a big red outline across the helmet, so I gotta try and be careful not to get her onto that red. because I don't want some of that bleeding. That can happen with this. Now if you let it dry all the way, it can be not as bad. You have to watch too. So this helmet is a fairly flat surface, and speed paint sometimes doesn't like to play on a flat surface because it doesn't really have anywhere to run. Okay. To put a little closer, there's a couple of tiny spots I missed. I can just take care of those super quick. Okay. So I got some of that blue there. So we're going to give him a chance to dry real quick. Let me clean off my brush. Clean, dry. Okay. So the rookie judge here, we're going to take this flat back out. So when you're using water, clean your brushes like almost all of us do. Using the speed paints, try and dry your brush as much as you can. I found that, and from what I've read too, straight water helps the bleed effect. Now, I haven't researched that. I haven't looked into it too hard, too much. It was just one article that I read, and if they didn't come up with a 2.0, I might actually investigate it more. But the second edition of these speed paints supposedly fixed that problem, so I'm probably not going to look into it too much, as I am hoping to get myself that set, because I am a big fan of these. Alright, back into the smaller brush here, just to get some of these lines. As I go along here, I apologize if at any point I'm painting and I pull the miniature out of frame view. I don't normally paint on camera, so sometimes I forget where to hold this stinking thing so you guys can see me. Okay, so a lot less, but that's mostly because of how she's holding everything here onto the chest. The sculpt details on these miniatures are pretty good. I really, really like them. Okay, so we're going to give that a second to dry here. But that's the magic blue there. So next we're going to go, I'm just using the cover art as my guide here. So this green here, green for the webbing, and it's also onto the legs. Oh, back one page. So you can see right here with the different judges, you can see how they did it. The green there, pouches, legs, and the gloving. So we're going to try and find the right green. I picked one out, but I think I'm going to change it. So originally I was going to go with camo cloak here. You can see the coloration. But I think I'm going to go with this absolution green. It's a little bit darker. And I think with that bright blue, I think this darker green is going to look a little bit better. Like I said, it's got a this style's got a grittier look to it. There are still some vibrant colors, especially when you look at like the street punks and stuff like that. I mean, you're gonna have like multicolored, like green and pink and red mohawks and stuff like that. So you want some of that vibrancy into the coloration because it just fits with the style. But if you've watched either Dredd movie that exists out there, or read the comics or anything about it, you know how dark and foreboding everything is there. So you don't want everything to be in that too. So that's why I think this little bit darker green is going to be a better choice. So since it's not the one that I originally had picked out, I had picked this one out and I had pre-mixed it with my Vortex. I've got the Absolution green on the Vortex right now here. I'm not sure if you can pick up the slight hum of it going here, but it's a going. So here we go. Couple of small drops, one more for good measure. And I try to put a quick drop always onto the top of the paint cap too, because you can see the color here on how it's supposed to dry, but actually seeing the paint dried on top gives you a little better reference. I like it that way. You see like my yellow right there, Grey Lord Grey. I've done that too. Like, I haven't done them for all of them, but quite a few different ones I have. It just helps give me a better reference. So I'm going to take my number 2 here. And this judge, which actually with the stuff, it doesn't say actually that this is Dredd. So just a little bit green there just to see. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with that. That's really good. So I just grabbed that number 2 just to put a quick line to make sure that was kind of what I wanted, because that would have been easier to clean up than if I would have started slathering it on with this flat here. But since it is what I want, I'll just take it and bam. And doing the speed paint method here, I like to have the zenithal highlighting on my miniatures because it does definitely help the coloration. It cuts down a need for a lot of shading. Miniatures aren't going to be perfect. This method is not designed to have showroom quality miniatures. But if you want to paint some guys relatively quickly, you want to make them look okay. That'll do it. That'll do it just fine. I was able to do a large chunk of zombies, the combination of Citadel contrast and Ray Painter speed paints. And under normal methods, it would have taken me forever. I probably still would be painting them. But using those methods, I was able to crank out a ton of guys. Nope, I missed a little bit of blue in there. I find myself always doing that. Just missed a little tiny spot. But easily fixed. That's one nice thing. You can go fairly quickly. Cover a lot of areas fast with your speed paints. So sometimes they're still sitting there, not dry all the way. You can touch up a spot, just like this. Now, where was that? There it is. Boop, and done. Put that back in the water. Okay, so yeah, if you're watching this video, why don't you tell me in the comments below what you think of the speed paints. If you're watching it, obviously you've got an opinion. You use them, you're curious about them, something. I'm just curious what you think. Has it helped you? Do you have problems with it? Has it given you issues? Do you think it takes away from the hobby itself? You know, there's all sorts of opinions about this painting method. Using speed paints, and you hear all sorts of different styles with it. Speed painting, slap chop, whatever it may be right now. What do you think about it? Oh look, see, I missed a whole section of the arm right there. My eclectic style of liking to move around to different spots sometimes makes it, like I said, I just miss stuff, and it's just how my brain is wired. But much like that little area that I just took care of, set this aside for a second. This little number 2 on this to get this little underarm right here. There we go. So there we go. Looking good. Looking good. He's definitely a guy that I would not want to have come up on me if I did something wrong. Now, I'm a fairly decent citizen, so chances are that happening very low. But the society, I'm especially not going to take any chances when you got judges running around like this. I am the law. That's what Judge Dredd would say. Yeah, I'm a big fan of how this green is looking on there. Not exact for what's on the cover there, the example work. But those, like I just said, are examples. This is my interpretation of Judge Dredd. So I gotta make sure we get these little nooks and crannies. So come along really nicely. So we got a little bit a face here. That's probably what I'm going to be doing next. So on to the next speed paint. Crusader skin here. That's going to be the next spot. But before I do that, I should probably get back to this judge over here. We're going to need a couple more drops of this Absolution green. Squirt. I almost forgot about this judge. Now this judge is very reminiscent of the newer Dredd movie, which in my opinion was the better of the two. You know, hit me in the comments there if you agree, disagree with that. You know, which Dredd did you like a little bit better? I like this one, the second one, more. The first one was closer in stylization to like the style, the 2080 comics, as opposed to the stylization in the new Dredd movie. So that older one, Sylvester Stallone style. Got a little heavy there, but it's okay because I can just do that. Take some of that, just pull it around, just send it over here. But these miniatures, like this one's very close to Rookie Anderson from the second movie. You know, this Dredd, or this judge, is very much like the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. Just, you know, the big giant shoulder pads. Which, I mean, they had in the newer one, but it wasn't, not like this. I think they had it in there. It's been a while since I watched it. Maybe by painting these guys, I'll watch it tonight. Who knows? I never know what I'm going to be doing in the evening, so we'll see what happens here. So, a little bit more. There. Tucked into this elbow right there. Okay. I like it. So I still have a lot of green left into my palette, so I'm going to grab one of these thugs super quick. That's got like a coat or something. I'm just going to throw it on there just so I don't waste the paint. Oh, this guy. We'll just take it and blah. Now when I speed paint and batch paint a lot of things, you'll see me do this a lot. One, because I hate wasting extra paint if I went a little heavy pouring it into my palette. So I try to recycle, I guess recycle isn't the right word, but extend use, maybe that's the right word, a paint that I have on my palette. But you'll sometimes see some odd painting choices. One thing I like to do is, especially if you've got, say I did a batch paint job of a whole bunch of insurgents and Taliban for some modern wargaming. There's some stranger colorations into it, but the reason I did that is if you're sitting at a table, say a 4x6 table, and there's 30 different guys out there, instead of trying to describe it, like I'm going to be getting that guy there, which one? And then they all look the same. If you can pick out one or two details that are just like slightly odd, like if you had three of the, like I'm going to take the this gang member out. Well, which gang member are you talking about? There's 6 of them over there. Well, one with a green coat. Look at that. Identified. Done. So, when I did that with the Taliban and the insurgents, there's some that have like a blue shirt, which you wouldn't see. But they exist there because now I can be like, alright, this squad is going to open fire on that guy over there. Which one? The guy with the... Because there's 6 guys over there. Blue shirt guy. Okay, we know. Moving on. Because when you play these miniature games, overall, like, they're not super hidey. Like, perfect camouflage. That's not really kind of a thing in a lot of them, so why not? You know, we're going to do this guy's mohawk because I think it'll look cool. I was painted that off camera because, like I said a little bit ago, sometimes I forget. So like I said, I was going to just do the judges, but since I got a little heavy-handed on my paint, you're getting a little bonus action here. This guy looks like he wants to have green pants. So green pants you get, sir. Yeah, so far I've asked you a couple questions here as you're watching this. You know, definitely hit me up in the comments down below. I'll be watching this. I'll be watching the comments there. And I will definitely talk to you about that or about it. Alright, so through some TV magic and me not paying attention and well, having my video shut off in the middle of what I was saying there, so I got some of that green into a couple other spots there just to kind of use it up a little bit here. So I'm going to probably hit another color on there, and that'll probably close out the recording for today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this Zealot Yellow. So I'm going to use that this Zealot Yellow on all the places that would be goldish on my judges. So along the shoulder pads, there along the crest there, on the belt buckle, and on the helmet. It's supposed to be gold, but I'm going to do this yellow as an under, and then I'm going to hit it with a gold coloration a little bit later. I want that kind of almost layering with it. So, had my Zealot Yellow there on the Vortex, got it all mixed up. So, Zealot Yellow. And one thing to watch, one thing I've noticed with this yellow, it's a little, I don't know, it seems to be a little thinner than the other paints. So you have to watch it when you put it on because, like I said, since it's a little thinner, it likes to run more. But I think part of it, because a good yellow is super hard pigment-wise to do. Getting yellow to look right. Difficult. Now see, I'm already running into a little bit of running from that, so once you get some color down, you can kind of do this. Kind of sop it up just a tiny bit Just going to leave that pigment on there and then just kind of build it up a little bit more. You can see I had a little bit of running right there, where some of that medium came down onto the green and kind of pulled it up. But I'm going to let that dry, and then once I get that to dry up really, really well, I should be able to take that little bit of magic blue again and just kind of go over that, and that should cover it up. One thing I can do too, because we have this big lip on this, you can turn this upside down. You can watch it pull like that. That's going to keep it from running down into the painted section here. And part of that too was my fault. You gotta go, because it is light and likes to run. Well, not light, but thin. Likes to run. Make sure you knock quite a bit off of your brush before you get it on there. So this chain here, what I probably do is I'll probably just take that as a regular paint. Regular gold paint. Have some Reaper gold. I'll probably just do that straight up in that. A few days later. Alright, so just go ahead and splice whatever you want to put in between or whatnot. I don't know. You're doing the editing, so up to you. But we're going to start at this point here. Okay. Through some TV magic, we're going to come back to this project here. What happened is I wasn't paying attention to space on my recording, so it kind of cut out on me, but I kind of left off where it was there. Come back at it another day, another time here. But we're just going to do a little bit more finishing up here. So, as I've been working on these two judges here. So, we're going to continue with our main judge here. And there's a little bit of face right here. And what I did was, before I started here, I got some speed paint, Crusader skin, dropped into my palette here. Grabbing a real fine brush and dab, 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 dab. So we'll put that in there. Now, Crusader skin is one of those ones that I've noticed that when you put it on, it looks a lot darker than it actually dries to be. So get this on here like so. And just a little bit like that. Now I already put 2 drops into my palette, and I I only wanted to put one, but that second one decided to come real quick, so a little extra bonus here. I'm just going to grab a couple of these thugs here. Always remember, you just need a little bit on your brush. No problem wiping some of it off. As you go. I'm going to say his hands are uncovered here. We'll grab this guy. Why not? Let's see here. Okay. It's going on there real nice. Like, if you look at my paper towel, like, there's a couple of the swipes there. Just me trying to take some of that paint off the brush. It's easier to take it off and just do a couple light thin coats than doing one that's just too heavy. And you don't get what you want out of it. Build it up slowly. As a famous painter in the painting circle says, 2 light thin coats. So, watch it. There's a little bit of the back ponytail on that guy. So, I'll grab another one here. I have some fine tip acrylic pens that I think with the black I could do some cool like face tattooing on some of these guys or something like that. Some people can freehand that with a brush. I can't. I'm better with a straight pen. And by better I mean it's serviceable. I'm not the best freehander, but I've done a couple cool things. I've done a departure. Usually I do skin tones first. I like to work inside out. That's just how I learned. And these ones I kinda didn't do that. Reason being, mostly because I was working on the Dredd figure first. And there's not a lot of skin on him. It's mostly covered. So I wanted to jump right in on the painting. So So that's why I kind of waited till way later to do a skin tone. This guy's got some wild hair going on. Oop. There I go, bumping the thing. So, as you can see, the skin tone's starting to lighten up from what I put it on. It's still kind of dark, but it's getting there. Same with the Dredd there. It's lightening up. It's the pigmentation on this. It does come a lot darker. The first time I put it on there, I was like, oh, well, that's way darker than I was expecting. But after it dried out, I was actually very happy with how that skin tone went. Alright. So next here, I'm going to be doing some touch-up here on this yellow. So one nice thing is I let that yellow sit. I let everything kind of dry after I ran out of space and had to do some stuff to free up some more space to continue this recording. Sat for a day or so, and I'm actually, the yellow that went on there, I'm actually very happy. It's not like that pure gold look, but I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with just it being like this yellow. So right now I got my Zealot yellow. That's what I used on that, and I have it on my vortex right now. I'm getting it mixed up. I can hear the little rattle balls going. Works really nice. This is a vortex mixer that I've used here. I just got it not that long ago, thanks to a friend helping me out on acquiring it. So I'll put a tiny drop here because I don't need a whole lot. So I just have a little bit up here. I'm going to kind of lean in. If you see the top of my head, I'm sorry, but so we're getting this on here. Have a little bit over here. Tiny bit right there. We're going to get this chain going right there. So just kind of like that. A little tiny bit right here because there's still some white peeking out right there. We're going to let that dry like that. Have a little bit of touch up here at the base of these shoulder pads for this, I guess, supposed to be Rookie Anderson here. My drop was not enough. There we go. Have a little bit of chain right here. I have a little blue touch up on her to do, but not much. Same with her Dredd figure. I have a little bit of touch up on the blue to do on that too, but we'll get to that in a little bit. That's looking pretty good there. We're going to give it a little bit more time to dry. So I will say yellow's a hard color in a lot of these paints, and I think I really do like the speed paint yellow. I think it comes out really, really well. I'm going to grab this guy, just have a little bit left on. So I'm just going to toss a little bit. Right there. Yeah, a little yellow on that guy there. So we're going to toss my magic blue here back onto the vortex, get it all mixed up. So I just have a little tiny bit to touch up on that. Quick couple seconds on there is all it needs. Drop some blue out here. Alright. So I'm actually going to take the Anderson, get a little bit right here. Now, if you remember, I had a little bit of that green that kind of bled up here. Just drop that blue right on top. This dried pretty well. So, what you can do is put it on there. If it pulls up again, that's what I like to do. It reactivates it a little bit. Then you can kind of wipe it. And you can drop the color back on top of it, and you won't see that weird blending that happens with some of the reactivation that does happen on there. So I got a little bit right here. No matter how long or how hard I try to paint, I always have a little bit of touch up on. I will never get a figure 100% done the first time. I will miss a spot here and there. Okay. There's a tiny bit of green I need with that one. Now let me double check this Anderson. Yeah, we'll do a little bit right here. Okay. So I think I got the blues kind of done pretty well. A little touch up of the greens here. Where is it? Right here. Absolution green. What I love is really, I'm getting this Dredd figure done with 6 paints. It's all it is. By the time this is all said and done, I'm going to be somewhere around 45 minutes to an hour total. And I spend a lot of this time kind of talking and not super focused on this painting. Just talking about, you know, the different things that I do with it and whatnot. If I were to focus down onto the painting, I could probably have cut half the time down. So that's something nice that the speed paints do. It can allow you to get a figure. You're not going to get, for most of us, we're not going to get museum quality painting out of this. What we are going to get, though, is a decent painted miniature that looks not too bad. It's not going to be perfect. By all means, it's not going to be perfect at all. Never claimed it to be, but this is a method that does help speed up a lot of things on your painting. You're going to make it really look awesome. So we're going to take a quick pause here because I need to find one more paint here to do some hair, but I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back here with you. Normally I have my paints just a little bit off the camera here, off to the side, but when I pulled this all out and set back up, I was like, I should only need the 6. I wasn't even thinking about the hair for Anderson. So she has a darker hair color, a brown, so I just took this hardened leather. So had to go over to where I store my paints, look for it, and as with most of them, got the little coloration on the top. So I'm tossing it onto my vortex here. I'm going to get a quick little spinny spin. We're going to get that hair done. And then what I'm going to do, even though the speed paints does the multi-layered, where it gets you the base coat and the shading all in one, for something like this that does have a little bit of a gritty look, I'm actually going to still put a wash on top of it just to accent some of those recesses a little bit more and give it that hard gritty look on there. But I'm going to go very light with the wash because I don't want to dull a lot of the brighter colors too much. So we're going to go real thin with the wash, but enough, just like I said, just to accent some of those lines and give it that gritty look. Alright, so I got this mixed up here, and we're just gonna throw a couple of tiny small drops here, and then I don't need a small brush for this one, so I'm taking my Army Painter Mega Brush. Now I keep calling this like the Anderson and Dredd. In the box, they're actually not labeled that. They're just called, you know, Rookie Judge and Street Judge. So they don't actually have to be those main figures. So there we go. Just a quick brown hair. Nothing super exciting with that one. I have a tiny bit left, so this guy's got some hair on him. You know what that means? He's going to get some brown hair. When I'm batch painting stuff, I do this a lot. I'm pretty sure I said this before. Just because the paint's there, it's going to slowly dry up on the palette anyways. Why not just slap it on something? This hardened leather gives a nice, like, chestnut color. didn't have a whole lot on there. So I need to put my water in a better spot so I don't keep bumping my camera mount. Just had a little bit more that I kind of missed, but there we go. There we go. Not super exciting. Alright, so that quick pause there, if you can cut that out, because I forgot to grab it here. Something. Now, like I said, our one not army painter, but this is probably one of my favorite shades here. Null oil. And then I always suggest, for if you're using any Citadel pots, get yourself some kind of holder. I had a friend 3D print one for me, but if you have ever had one spill, you know exactly why you need a holder for these pots. The pots are a nice little thing to store the paints. People have conflicting thoughts about them. Some people love them, some people hate them. I'm like, about them. But I suggest getting a holder of some sort. So when I do that, I just grab a big old cheap flare brush, nothing exciting. Quick dip in there. I'm running low, so I gotta go a little deeper than I normally do. There we go. And then I always take them and hold it upside down. Take a look, see if there's any spots that is pulled really badly that I don't want it in, and I'll take it and I'll pull it down, like right there. I will pull it a little bit further down. Check the back. Okay. Judge here. Flip over. Same thing, I knocked a bunch of it off. Quick. Tut 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 tut. Turn over, check any spots I didn't want too much on. Knock it off. You can just even just wipe your brush off and kind of, it looks wet. You can just kind of let it dry. And I went really thin on it, so it won't take long to dry, but it's still drying a little bit, but there you go. Judge Dredd, Street Judge, whatever you want to call him. A little more dry to go, and then I'm going to clear coat them, but tabletop quality right there. Looks pretty good to me. Really like the sculpt. They're really nice and clean with these ones. Pretty cool. And especially, I can't wait to get some of these gang members painted up because they have some really cool poses with them. And then everything done, with the exception of that little tiny bit of wash at the end, everything done with speed paints. So, compile together. If I cut my yammering out, pretty short video overall, I could have cut that down too. And I could get, you know, Dredd or a judge done in 30 minutes or so. You get 5 of them, similar paint colors, and you can run them assembly line right through. But yeah, Warlord does a really good job with these sculpts here, and I'm really happy. I'm gonna have to take a different color over skin. It's not lighting up too much where I want it, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this Dredd came out, and I'm really happy with it. But yeah, so that's my painting video here. Painting example of Street Judge here for Judge Dredd, the miniature game by Warlord Games, using the speed paints in the speed paint system. Definitely hit that like comment or that like button there. Hit, ask a couple questions while I painted. Definitely throw them into the comments down below, and hit our subscribe button. Check out all the videos that we have coming out. We're trying to get more painting videos. You can listen to me talk about whatevers as we go along. And you're going to see some pretty cool stuff as some more companies sends me some more things to kind of work with. But, until later, this is Evan with Tabletop Gaming Guild. Have a good night.